Yes, sir. You tap back into the Fixx, your number one source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. And it's time to get real in these streets, Dice. And, yeah, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about grief. We're going to talk about grief and mental health and mental health wellness and just dealing with grief and loss. It's a lot. I know it's a lot for some. I can't stress enough. I promise you, I'm still, depending on what day you catch me on, I'm not in a good place. Still grieving my parents and my father-in-law. It's just tough. And then just, people just dealing with grief differently. I was talking actually too as well about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And somebody I was talking to, he was telling me, he's like, man, listen, he's an entrepreneur. He opened up a clothing business, and it hadn't been going like he would like for it to go. And he's almost went like 6 months where he really ain't making no money. He got a storefront that he's paying for.
Wow.
Well, forgive me, not a storefront, but a kiosk in the mall situation, where you got to pay monthly for that. And it's like some months he's making it where he'd make a few dollars. Then there's a couple of months where he ain't making nothing. So now he's really just thinking about just stop even being an entrepreneur and selling his clothing brand and just going back and getting a regular job. And he's not feeling good about it. He doesn't want to do that. That's not what he really wants to do. And just wanted, to talk with me, and I'm just praying for him and just talking to him and trying to keep him encouraged, to tell him to keep staying in there, stick in there, and gave him some advice on maybe going to get some loans or, maybe looking to somebody who would partner with him and see if that would help, you know what I'm saying, from the financial standpoint. But he's like, it's just tough, this is how he eats, and he's not making a living. And how long can you go without making any income and being able to, do something that you dreamed of doing? But again, he's grieving the fact that he might have to shut down his clothing brand. He doesn't want to do it, but at the end of the day, how does he take care of himself? So
that's tough.
I get it. So yeah, we talking grief today, Dice. I said that to say we're talking about grief today and how it affects our mental health. And definitely, when you get a chance, just want to start off with one Bible verse before we hop into it. Ecclesiastes 3 and 4. It just talks about, this is like a home verse, as I would call it. It says a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. And that's just, talking about, just making sure that you're in tune with who you talking with, and I brought that up because that's one of the scriptures I started off when I was talking to my brother. And he was talking about doing his thing and shutting down his clothing brand. I was like, listen, man, I get it. I know you ain't in a good place, and I feel for you.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur myself, I know you got to make money somehow, some way, and it's challenging at times. But I just want to encourage him to keep going. But this is tough. We talked about Tyler Hates life, and we know a lot of people in the CHH community are mourning his loss, Dice, and the impact he had. And you brought it up too as well in the Street Report that he was an advocate for mental health and the importance of it.
It's true. I mean, that's why I said, man, he's left a legacy. He's been able to help a lot of people through grief and mental health. And I mean, this is something we should be talking about more often. I think it's a journey. It's not a destination. Grieving anything, to your point, it's your journey. It's part of your life. You're going to grieve something, or you're going to grieve somebody, or you're going to grieve a situation, or you're going to grieve a choice that you made, a decision, or maybe one you didn't make, and I mean, sometimes people can't help you, what I'm saying? Sometimes people can give you a little word, give you a little prayer, and it helps you, but grief is such a strong human response to the thing, what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
it can mess with your emotions forever, but it's how you process. And that's why I like people who will let you process. I hate people who say, oh, you're gonna be fine. It's like, okay, am I though? Because obviously you're not in tap with the spirit right now, because I'm really thinking of manifesting some things that shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's substance abuse or endangering myself, or like, I'm really thinking not normal, so it's an inevitable part of life. We all go through pain, hurt. I heard somebody give a quote one time. They said, grief is love with nowhere to go.
Oh, wow.
And that really stuck with me, but it connected with my heart, because I'm like, exactly. Like, you had this passion, or you had a passion for a person, or a business idea. And it's like, you had so much love for it. When it's not there, it's like, you got to deal with it. Especially when you can't bring it back. It's like, what? Where do I put all this emotion? Like, geez. So talking to your friends is super important, having that support system, and talking to strangers sometimes. We talk about therapy all the time on the show, connecting with online groups, connecting with churches, go find you somebody who feels your pain, no pun intended. And it's okay if somebody don't get you, just to be like, no shade, no disrespect, but you don't know how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can't really get into the conversation. And that's why I'm like, man, I don't want to talk to nobody about stuff I don't understand, because I would be sitting there lying, saying, I know how you feel. No, I don't know how you feel. I could not console you. I could not compare stories with you. That's why I said, look, God forbid anything happen to my parents anytime soon, but at least I know that you've had that situation, so I can come to you, focus, and be like, okay, now tell me how do I get through this? Because, like, I don't know. And I already told everybody, look, something happened to my parents, I'm going to be shut down for a couple months, and I'm okay with that. But I know how I'm a processor, so I can't keep going. I got to process it immediately and then get over it. And so, I kind of know how I work, but I think, grief obviously is very necessary. I think God gives us that emotion so we will get closer to him, and really appreciate the loss versus, lamenting over it, but just, we get to walk through appreciation of what we don't have anymore and how fulfilled it made us feel, and so now we know how to share that same story with somebody else. So,
and definitely, if it wasn't for God, Dice, I'm be honest with you. If it wasn't for prayer and God, no, that's real. Because I would have probably been back into a sunken place where I would have probably been back doing some, some drugs, or smoking some weed, or coping with it with, popping bottle after bottle and going into this depressed state. And I will say this though, to be totally 100, I know there has been some times that I have eaten out of depression.
Oh yeah.
So overeating. That's why I talk about my health journey so much. That's why I talk about the struggle back and forth sometimes with me, dealing with that. So I do know I have had some moments where I probably, was eating out of grief and just overeating. Let that be it. So listen, don't touch that dial. We're going to talk about some more today. We're talking about grief and how it affects your mental health. Keep it locked. You're tuning into The Fixx.
And The Fixx is in.
And we back, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You back into The Fixx in the middle of this real talk conversation today. We're just talking about grief and mental health. And I know, I'm excited, Dice, because I have been talking actually with a lot of people, just of the faith. Shouts out to everybody, go hang out to barbershops or just, hang out with men. And I've been hearing, that there are a lot of churches now who are really taking mental health serious. And when I say taking it serious, they have, groups. They are, hiring, or at least having, doctors or, clinicians come in and talk about mental health, talk about practical tips, creating ministry groups to have like a safe haven for somebody who's dealing with some of these issues to come and kind of just go through the healing process. Because I think if you don't have an outlet to talk about some of the things, like you say, when your mind ain't working right, absolutely, there's a lot of people that love God, love the Lord, but sometimes our mind don't work right. Let's just be real. Your feelings, get a little bit best of you, and you might be grieving a little bit, or you might just be upset. And if you ain't got somebody to talk you off the edge, that's what me and my partners call it. Said, man, listen, text me when you talk me off the ledge. I got partners that pick the phone up. I'm glad you picked up. Talking off the ledge.
That's right.
Yeah, because I'm about to go do something I ain't got no business doing. They just keep it a buck with me. Like, I'm about to go do something I ain't got no business doing. Tell me why I shouldn't do it. So
right. That part,
and tell me why I shouldn't do it. But I'm glad churches are doing a better job of, again, having that now too as well. What's your thoughts on the pastors speaking on mental health? Where do you think we at now in 2024 with pastors talking about it more?
I think pastors are realizing they have to talk about it more. You're trying to figure out why maybe your sermons aren't as effective as they could be, but you got to realize, in order for people to receive from you, they got to be in the right frame of mind. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But if I'm dealing with a lot of mental health, and especially in urban areas, I'll say Black and brown neighborhoods, we have a lot of um, historical mental health issues because you know, it's just what comes along with the territory and the melanin. Yeah, you gotta help people do that stuff so that they can get better and hear from God. So it's important to talk about mental health and to get people to go get that counseling throughout the week, not just on Sunday at church. It's like, okay, make sure you're tapping in or calling your counselor or going to sit down or getting on a Zoom call, or making sure you're in a good group of friends who is, they create a safe space for you to have conversation with them, and make sure that they're like-minded, like you. So I think it only helps people when you start talking about mental health, because here's the thing. People love people who help people. And it doesn't matter how much money you make on this earth. It doesn't matter how big your business is. It doesn't matter how big of a superstar you are. The only thing people are going to remember is how you help them. They're not going to, they don't remember nothing else.
Facts.
You could have bought them all kind of stuff. People remember how you made them feel, how you helped them through stuff. And that's where your support comes in. So, and for those of you who wonder why your ministry ain't blowing up, your business ain't blowing up, go help somebody. I'm just gonna put it out there. I know we're not really talking about that right now, but
no, that's all right. That'll help your mental health. Yeah, you absolutely
go help
right.
somebody else.
Get your mind
off of it. Get your mind off of it. Yeah. You sitting here thinking you got issues. You need to go serve somebody else who really got issues, and that'll humble you a little bit. Where you're like, you know what? I'm up here tripping right now, talking about how bad my life is, till I roll up on somebody that ain't ate all week and ain't got no shoes and no place to live. Then we can start having a conversation about how bad I really got it.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. And I know, at times too as well in the process, if you go help somebody, again, you'll realize that, your situation might not be as bad as you think it is, but also you might stop questioning God so much. And I know that's tough. I'm guilty of it too as well. Sometimes, when we feel doubt, or we feel like we're questioning God because of this, or why did they have to pass away, or why did that business venture not work in my favor, God? Always go back to the Bible. Let's be very clear. I know Job was one who questioned a lot of things that God wanted him to do and how God wanted to use him, but he still did it. So shouts out for Job being a great example. If you need somebody in the Bible to go read it. And let's be very clear. Job went through a lot of grief. Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That if you get in that book and it just show you how you got to go. No, I'm just being honest. I know a lot of people think I'm the only one going through this, and for my people who have long suffering, and go through those things. That's grief. That's mental health. Read the book of Job. Stay in the book of Job for 30 days and understand that God still wanted to use him. He had a purpose. He had a call. But in the process of all that, he went through a lot. Family issues, losing family, losing friends. Oh, by the way, y'all didn't know Job had a drinking problem. Shouts out to my communion saints. I know a lot of people don't remember that, or some might, but in the process of that,
they don't want to remember that part.
Well, but I have to speak to that, Dice, because that that affects your mental health too as well.
It does,
again, if you're dealing with drinking, and it's a coping mechanism for you not to deal with the issue that you need to address. That's mental health. That's mental health.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. It's a good conversation to have. And like we talk about grief and mental health, and obviously grief isn't something that everybody has the key to get over it. Like you could have the books and the talks, and you can even go to therapy. And I would suggest, to give yourself time, give yourself permission to grieve, one, but also give yourself permission to walk through it at your pace, like whatever that pace looks like, and then also I give you permission to let other people know, like, this is where I am and I'm okay. That's a fear I know a lot of us have, is like when we watch people grieve, but I'm like, we need to let people grieve. It's important, for them to go through the process. What you don't want is to not allow people to grieve and they have everything jam-packed in there. And then one day, out of nowhere, there's an explosion. You know what I'm saying? So, just be patient with people who are grieving is what I would say. But it's something that you work through, and you're working it out with God, and God will get you through it, for real. But do it at your own pace. I would definitely say do it at your own pace and not underneath that pressure of somebody else wanting you to just get over a thing. It's like, I'll get there when I get there. And I don't know when I'll get there, but I'll get there when I'm supposed to get there. Kind of how you read the scripture straight out the gate. Like there's a time for everything. And there is definitely a time to mourn, so yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely want to give y'all some scriptures before we get out of here. Definitely read at your own time that maybe they can help you in some of these, with some dealing with grief and just, some mental health issues too as well. Wow. Revelations 21:4. Yeah.
Ooh.
Read that when you get a chance. I know that's going to be deep. I'm sorry, but definitely Revelations 21:4, Psalms 147:3, also Proverbs 3:5, as well as, Hebrews 10:24-25. So again, just wanted to give you some scriptures to, help you deal with grief, help you get through, dealing with some mental health issues. Again, Revelations 21:4, Psalms 147:3, Proverbs 3:5, as well as Hebrews 10:24-25. All right, y'all. That's it for the real today. Don't touch that dial. We going to a break. We'll be back with more. You tapped into the Fixx.
And the Fixx is in.